Heroic film music has a very specific sound that we can all instantly recognize. Think about when the Avengers come together for a huge battle, or when the Star Wars main titles begin to roll. In this video, we're going to break down the foundations of heroic theme so that you can start writing your own heroic music. Hey everyone, my name is Robert Rodriguez and I'm a media composer. If you're new to the channel, my goal is to help new composers start writing your own music. So let's first clarify that I'm not talking specifically about superheroes, but rather the action hero or the protagonist of a story or film. So when writing the music for the hero, it needs to reflect their personality and almost stand on its own. So we're going to take a look at the 4 fundamental foundations of music and see how they can act as a template for any basic heroic theme. So a melody is basically the theme itself or a motif. It's what the audience can instantly recognize. When looking at a heroic theme, we need to be thinking in terms of perfect fourths, fifths, and octaves. So that means if we're starting on C, and we go up to the 4th, that's going to be an F. The 5th is a G, and an octave is C. Now, heroic melodies can follow a major or minor scale. So a major scale would be, and then a minor scale would be. But one key characteristic is to alter the 6th pitch in the scale. In a major key, a common tactic would be to lower the 6th scale degree. So if our tonic is C, then the 6th scale degree up would be A. But then lowering the 6 would give us an A flat. This takes a positive feeling of a major scale and gives it a bit more of a darker edge. And we can see this with Brian Tyler's Now You See Me theme. Remember, we're not looking at these characters as superheroes necessarily, but rather what they represent. In the film, the 4 horsemen are a group of magicians that take from the rich and give to the poor. So throughout the video, I'm just going to stick with the C scale just so you can see the similarities between all of the examples. One of the first things to notice is the relationship between the first 2 pitches, G to C. That's going to be a perfect 4th. And then the G above the C is going to be a perfect 5th. And if we wanted to, we could cut the melody off at that top G, and we would still be able to recognize the horseman theme. Next, notice how even though we're sticking to a major scale, the melody still sounds heroic, but a little bit darker thanks to the lowered 6th. So let's take the same exact theme, but stick with just the pitches that are found in a major scale. So we're not going to alter anything. That sounds totally off and not too heroic in my opinion. So that just shows you the power of a lowered 6th scale degree. Now in a minor key, another common tactic is to raise the 6th scale degree. So our tonic will still be C, but we'll change the 6th scale degree from A flat to an A natural. Just from listening to the scale that I played, minor keys typically have a sad or darker tone, especially compared to a major key. Minor scales alone don't sound too heroic, but by raising the 6th scale degree, the melody almost sounds elevated and a little bit more hopeful. So let's take the Avengers theme, for example. I have the melody written out. This theme starts off with a perfect fourth jump. So we start on our C, and it goes up a perfect fifth to the G, and then it falls down real quick to the perfect fourth, which is the F. Then the melody kind of passes through the third scale degree, E flat, and the second scale degree, D, to kind of land back on a C. Which is the same pitch as our starting note. So it actually looks like the melody is going to repeat itself, but instead of going down to the F here, we're actually going to go up to the raised sixth scale degree. So instead of using the A flat, we're actually using an A natural. From there, we just go to the fourth and the fifth, and then it resolves back down to a heavy and a triumphant C, which is our tonic. Now we can move beyond just the face value of a heroic theme. Harmony is the chordal structure of the music. It kind of fills in the melodic gaps. For the most part, heroic themes stay within the realm of its keys diatonic chords. That means that it typically won't use chords that don't fall in line with the key that it's in. However, we've seen the power behind altering a sixth scale degree in the melody, so it stands to reason that we can also alter some chords in the harmony. In a way, we might not want to lock ourselves into a major or minor key. We might want to alternate between the two. So now I want to just show you the basic chordal structure of the Avengers theme. So let's take a look at the first chord in the theme. This is the C minor chord, or the minor 1 chord. The chord itself is made up of a C, an E flat, and a G. And all of those pitches are in a C minor scale. Then we move on over to A flat, which is a major chord built on the 6th scale degree. So that is C, E flat, and A flat. Again, all of those pitches are in a C minor scale. Next, we go to an F major chord. In C minor, an F chord should have a C, an F, and an A flat. So instead of using a minor 4 chord that would be in a normal minor scale, we're actually using a major 4 chord, which uses the raised 6. If you look a little bit closer, this is exactly what we talked about when it comes to the melody. The 6th scale degree, which was A flat, was now raised to become an A natural. The chord progresses back to an A flat major chord, which is chord 6, and a B flat major chord, which is chord 7. And all of those pitches fall in line with a regular C minor scale. So then the chord progression actually repeats itself, except for this final bar. Instead of using the A flat and B flat chords, we now have a G chord with a suspension. Suspensions are actually going to be a topic for another music theory video, but just know that in terms of this theme, they really emphasize the tension and resolution of a chord. And now let's try that with the melody. Alright, so let me know if you're getting value out of this video so far. If you want to help the channel grow, definitely consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel so that you don't miss out on any new content. Next up, let's discuss the rhythm and tempo of heroic action music. Tempo essentially indicates the speed of the music by beats per minute. In heroic music, you might get a range between 110 BPM, which sounds like this, and maybe around 140 BPM, which sounds like this. The tempo for heroic music is probably going to be moderate and steady. There's not going to be a high intensity like there might be for a chase scene. Rhythm is actually going to be based on the note value, like a quarter note, eighth note, 16th note, and so on. And the Avengers theme is actually a great example of that. It's going to use a dotted quarter note followed by an eighth note. Plus, there are plenty of ostinatos and repeated patterns. Now, this is something we'll definitely talk more about in the next step, but let's take a look at how the Avengers theme utilizes the ostinato. That ostinato that we just heard really focuses on the E flat and the C, and it just really alternates between the two almost the entire time. The only time that it actually changes is that final bar, which goes to a G and a D. Now, if you're not too familiar with the musical terminology that we've discussed so far, definitely check out some of my music theory videos. I also have an online course on the fundamentals of music theory, so I left a link to that in the description box down below. And finally, the last foundation is orchestration. Orchestration is essentially a way for you to assign parts to individual instruments or groups of instruments. And you need to understand the qualities and ranges of different instruments so that you can make informed decisions on how to give the composition texture. So when we're looking at a heroic theme, we can actually follow a basic quick start guide. First, you're going to want to write for a full orchestra, and that means you're writing for all of the strings, all of the brass, woodwinds, and maybe some epic percussion. Melodic lines are typically given to the brass section, and you'll find that the French horns carry the melody. But remember that this is common throughout a lot of film and TV heroic music. So if you want to stand out, try experimenting with your melody's orchestration. You'll also find that the melodies will move around the orchestra. You might have an 8-bar phrase with the French horns playing the melody, and then you might have another 8-bar phrase with violins playing the melody. Once again, we can look to the Avengers theme for examples of common orchestration tactics. The melody is found in the horns and the violin ones. The long harmonic progression goes to a lot of the brass section, the low end strings, and the woodwinds. The middle range to high strings will take on the ostinatos that we talked about earlier, and like we said, they'll alternate between the two pitches C and E flat. Then the percussion emphasizes the boldness of the theme with massive hits and cymbal swells. When the phrase repeats itself, the orchestration actually gets even bigger, and that is key to driving home the importance of a theme. The ostinatos are now in octaves, the melody is in octaves across the brass section, the string sections, the woodwinds, and the percussive hits are massive right on the downbeat. This is the importance of orchestration. It determines the impact of the sound and how big or small you want your music to be. Are you sticking to something more small and intimate, or are you writing music that is huge and epic? The thing about action hero music is that all of these characteristics are common among so many different films or TV shows. That's why it's up to you to find a way to make your heroic music stand out. Remember, Hans Zimmer's Batman is very different from Danny Elfman's Batman, which is very different from John Williams' Superman. When you add these four foundations together, you get the basis for a heroic theme. For the melody, try utilizing perfect fourths and fifths. And depending on your key, try altering the sixth scale degree. And for harmony, definitely utilize those fourths and fifths so you're not committed to a major or minor key. If you are in a major key, try alternating between a major 1 chord, or like a C major, for example, and a lowered major 6 chord like A flat major. And if you're in a minor key, try using major 4 chords, which actually have the raised 6th scale degree in them. For rhythm and tempo, remember that heroic music has a moderate intensity, nothing too fast. Try writing melodies with dotted rhythms and harmonies with ostinatos. And for orchestration, the size of the orchestra should match the size of the hero. If they're doing something amazing, the music should definitely match that. So write melodies in octaves across multiple sections. Give the strings the ostinatos, the horns can have the melody, and the rest of the brass and woodwinds can fill in the harmony. Heroic music is just one of many to write for. If you want to learn more about how to write for different genres, definitely consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel. And let me know what you got out of today's video in the comment section down below. And as a thank you for watching this video, I left a free downloadable reference guide in the description box. It's perfect for any new composer looking to jump right in. So thank you for stopping by, and I'll see you in the next one.